Have you considered that a single, straightforward yet surprising habit might subtly contribute to reaching the age of 100? It's a widespread notion that attaining 100 years is purely a matter of chance or genetics. However, the reality is that individuals who achieve a robust old age, those remaining mentally acute, physically agile, and emotionally stable, well beyond 90, nearly invariably share several daily practices that bolster their bodies internally. The positive aspect is that many of these practices are uncomplicated. Crucially, these are actions you can begin implementing immediately, even if your age is 65, 75, or somewhere in that range. In this presentation, I will discuss 7 potent habits that researchers have consistently identified in individuals who live beyond 100. Ranging from their dietary and sleep patterns to their mindset and way of navigating life, each of these routines is associated with tangible physical and emotional advantages that accumulate over the years. Rest assured, this isn't about adopting radical measures. A gym membership or a restrictive dietary regimen won't be necessary. These are subtle routines, enduring rhythms that span a lifetime. Their effectiveness lies in their seamless integration into your daily life, rather than causing disruption. Continue with me until the conclusion, as this is more than a mere compilation of suggestions. You will discover how each practice operates discreetly to safeguard your heart, brain, bones, and even your sense of meaning in life. If you have ever pondered what distinguishes those who age gracefully from those who find it challenging, this could very well be the insight you're seeking. Let us commence. Number 1, maintaining a regular sleep and wake schedule that recalibrates your body daily. Among individuals who reach 100, one of the most frequently disregarded habits is this. They typically retire for the night and rise at consistent times each day, irrespective of weekends, holidays, or television programming. This may seem elementary, almost too insignificant to be of consequence, yet the internal effect of this rhythm on the body is substantial. It synchronizes your internal biological clock, your circadian rhythm, which in turn helps to manage almost every bodily system, from digestion and immunity to emotional state. When you adhere to a consistent sleep pattern, your brain learns when to secrete melatonin, aiding in the onset of sleep. Your heart rate decelerates in a more predictable manner. Your organs can rest and mend with greater efficiency. Even your cells start to align with a rhythm that promotes healing and manages inflammation. Over extended periods, this accumulates. Individuals who sleep soundly and at consistent times generally exhibit lower incidences of chronic illnesses, experience fewer falls, and even possess keener memories. Now, this isn't to say that an uninterrupted 8 hours of sleep every night is essential. Many centenarians take naps during the daytime or awaken briefly during the night. The crucial factor is that your body anticipates this regularity. Such predictability has a soothing effect. It communicates to your system, you are secure, you are looked after, you may rest. I recall a gentleman named Arthur, 87 years old, who shared with me that he has been rising at 6:30 a.m. every day since he was 40. He mentioned, "It makes no difference if I've had a poor night's sleep or stayed out late. I still rise at the same hour. My body simply recognizes it." And his movements, his smile, there was a vitality about him that made his words convincing. So, if you find yourself still retiring late on certain nights and sleeping in on others, consider your body akin to a garden. It flourishes with consistent light, regular hydration, and tender, steady attention. A straightforward commitment to retiring and awakening at the same hour daily might seem minor, yet it could subtly be one of the most potent instruments for longevity at your disposal. Number 2, consuming food until you are 80% satisfied to alleviate the load on your system. A discreet secret repeatedly emerges in the lifestyles of those who live beyond 100. It's less concerned with the specific foods they consume and more with the quantity. A significant number of them practice a custom known as hara hachibu, which essentially translates to eating until they feel 80% satisfied. Not overfilled, not uncomfortably full, merely content enough to cease eating. This minor adjustment yields a remarkable effect. It allows your digestive system a period of rest. It lessens the strain on your internal organs. It assists in maintaining balanced blood sugar levels, stable weight, and an unstrained metabolic function. Over many years, this contributes to a reduced likelihood of heart conditions, diabetes, inflammation, and even particular types of cancer. The underlying process is as follows. When your system isn't perpetually overexerted digesting substantial meals, it can redirect its energy internally towards cellular restoration, immune system support, and mental acuity. Consequently, individuals who adopt this eating style frequently report feeling more buoyant, more concentrated, and less lethargic throughout the day. I encountered a lady named Elaine, aged 84, who recounted to me, "I was accustomed to clearing my plate entirely, even when I felt full. Then I began to pay attention to my body's signals. Now, I leave a small portion, and I feel improved daily." This isn't a dietary restriction, it's heightened consciousness, and that consciousness evolves into a habit. To implement this yourself, begin by consuming your food at a slower pace. Set your fork aside between mouthfuls. Observe when your sensation of hunger diminishes, rather than waiting until you feel weighed down. This isn't about self-deprivation. It's about ceasing consumption before your body must forcefully indicate it has received sufficient nourishment. Gradually, your serving sizes will naturally decrease, your desires for certain foods will lessen, and your body will begin to react with greater comfort, stability, and vitality. If you are still engaged with this video and find these perspectives beneficial, I'd appreciate it if you would comment with the number 2 below to signify your presence. Moreover, if you are not yet a subscriber, I suggest you subscribe and activate the notification bell to ensure you don't miss future videos. Your backing enables us to persist in producing quality content designed to inform and motivate you. Now let us proceed. Number 3, cultivating intimate, significant connections that act as a buffer against stress and safeguard cardiac health. Upon careful observation of the lives of individuals who thrive well into their 90s and even reach 100, a particular aspect becomes evident. They do not navigate this journey in isolation. They maintain connections, at times with family, at other times with friends, or with a community that acknowledges and appreciates them. This type of emotional intimacy is not merely consoling, it is also life-prolonging. When we experience a bond with another person, share laughter, confide in them, or merely coexist in tranquil silence, it influences our physiology. Stress-related hormones such as cortisol decrease, blood pressure tends to lower, the immune system functions more effectively. The brain even secretes oxytocin, a substance that soothes anxiety and elevates mood. In the long run, this emotional sustenance gains an importance comparable to the nutrition we consume or the physical activity we undertake. The converse is equally valid. Persistent loneliness, or the feeling of being unnoticed or without support, can elevate the risk of heart conditions, stroke, depression, and even premature mortality. This explains why individuals who frequently converse with dear ones, share meals with others, or participate in community activities often experience aging with greater vigor and fortitude. I recall a gentleman named Harold, 86 years of age, who after the loss of his wife, felt his own vitality diminishing. Subsequently, he started gathering with a small circle of friends each Tuesday for coffee. It was nothing extraordinary, merely straightforward fellowship. A few months later, he shared with me, I began to smile again, not due to any significant alteration in circumstances, but because I no longer felt unseen. Such is the impact of feeling emotionally acknowledged. Therefore, whether you possess a single confidant or a group whose company you cherish, allocate time for these relationships. Contact the individual you have intended to reach. Accept invitations for lunch. Extend yourself even when retreating seems simpler. For although diet and physical activity are significant, it is frequently relationships that bind the fabric of life as we grow older, maintaining its strength throughout. Number 4, engaging in daily walking or light physical activity to maintain the body's strength and stability. It's not necessary to participate in marathons or engage in strenuous weightlifting to preserve health in one's advanced years. Indeed, many individuals who reach the age of 100 practice something considerably more maintainable. They walk. Their movement is gentle yet regular, be it a stroll through the garden, a walk along the street, or movement within the kitchen during meal preparation. They integrate activity into their daily routine, not as an obligation, but as a natural rhythm. This practice is effective because it mildly invigorates every principal system within the body. It bolsters cardiovascular health by enhancing blood flow. It preserves bone density and joint suppleness. It fortifies the muscles crucial for balance and good posture. Perhaps most critically, it supplies the brain with a consistent flow of oxygen, which aids in safeguarding memory and emotional well-being. Regular physical activity also enhances energy levels. It communicates to the body, we are still active. This is still necessary. In response, the body remains more agile, more attentive, and more inclined to persist. I encountered two friends, Betty and Carol, both in their late 70s, who traverse the same neighborhood circuit each morning, regardless of the weather. They referred to it as their moving meditation. Betty shared with me, "If we miss a day, I notice it. My knees become stiff and my mind feels less clear, so we simply continue walking." This is what renders this practice so potent. It does not require high intensity, rather, it values consistency. Even a mere 20 minutes daily of mild activity, walking, stretching, or moving to music while tidying your bed, can assist you in remaining erect, self-assured, and more comfortable in your own skin. Should pain or limitations in mobility exist, the activity can be adapted. Exercises performed while seated, aquatic therapy, or even the simple act of slowly standing and sitting at intervals are all beneficial. The paramount consideration is maintaining the body's activity, not in pursuit of perfection, but for the sake of preservation. For the reality is, bodies accustomed to movement tend to remain mobile, whereas inactive ones may start to decline prematurely. If you are still viewing this presentation and deem these insights worthwhile, please comment with the number 4 below to indicate your continued engagement. Furthermore, if you have not yet subscribed, I encourage you to do so and activate the notification bell to stay updated with all future videos. Your encouragement assists us in consistently delivering quality content to provide information and inspiration. Now, let us continue. Number 5, cultivating a daily sense of purpose that imparts direction and significance to life. One of the most potent practices common among individuals who reach 100 is not discovered in a medication vial or an exercise regimen. It resides in their mental outlook. They arise each morning with a motivation to leave their bed, a purpose, an entity, or an individual that requires their attention, however minor. For certain individuals, this purpose stems from their faith or spiritual beliefs. For others, it manifests as a routine activity such as tending to birds, nurturing plants, inquiring about a neighbor, or journaling. It need not be grandiose or striking. The essential aspect is that it provides structure to the day and guidance to the heart. Purpose assigns a task to the brain. It fosters a feeling of utility that wards off depression and despair. Biologically, it reduces stress hormones, bolsters the immune system, and might even postpone the emergence of age-associated illnesses. It is hardly surprising that research has established a direct correlation between a robust sense of purpose and increased longevity, particularly among older individuals. I recollect a gentleman named Samuel, aged 88, who remarked, "Each morning I venture outside and collect litter on our street, merely a few discarded wrappers and bottle tops. I have maintained this practice for 12 years. People offer a smile when they see me. I appreciate that." He wasn't pursuing ambitious objectives, he was preserving meaning. Possessing a purpose serves as a reminder of your continued significance, that your time carries importance, and that your existence still influences the world, even if only within your immediate sphere. If you are uncertain about your purpose at present, begin with simplicity. Inquire of yourself, what are my concerns? What requires attention? What am I able to generate, cultivate, or endorse? Purpose can reside in your actions, your words, your cognitions, or your understated daily practices. The crucial element is to persist in moving forward, as that is the direction in which life progresses. Number 6, refraining from smoking and restricting alcohol consumption to safeguard every system within the body. Of all the practices evident in the lives of those who attain their 90s and live to be 100, this particular one is perhaps the most unambiguous. They generally either abstain from smoking altogether or cease the habit at an early stage. Furthermore, they moderate their alcohol intake, typically consuming no more than a single glass with an evening meal or for a special occasion. This is not coincidental. The scientific evidence is unequivocally robust. When one smokes, the body endures a continuous internal assault. Your pulmonary system is overtaxed. Your blood vessels constrict. Your brain and heart receive diminished oxygen supply. The process of aging is expedited from an internal standpoint, manifesting as quicker formation of wrinkles, diminished bone strength, retarded healing, and an elevated risk of cancer, stroke, and cognitive decline. Even your ocular health and gums are adversely affected. It exacts a toll on the entire body, and the harm is not localized. Alcohol might appear less harmful, particularly when consumed moderately, but for older individuals, the associated risks emerge insidiously. The liver metabolizes it at a reduced rate. The brain exhibits increased sensitivity. Equilibrium becomes compromised. Sleep patterns become disrupted. And when alcohol consumption transitions from an occasional indulgence to a daily routine, it frequently results in more detriment than solace. What is most heartening, however, is the body's remarkable capacity for recovery. Even if one has smoked for many years, cessation, even beyond the age of 70, can reduce the risk of heart conditions, cancer, and stroke. The lungs start to recover, blood flow enhances, and energy levels are restored. Your body does not harbor resentment. It simply seeks alleviation. I encountered a lady named Louise, 81 years old, who shared, "I discontinued my nightly glass of wine and transitioned to tea. My sleep is now more profound, and I feel mentally keener. I hadn't imagined it would make a difference at this stage of life, but it certainly did." That alteration, though modest, contributed to her feeling more engaged and stable throughout her day. If you are clinging to practices that once served as coping mechanisms but now seem more like dependencies, it is not excessively late to make a change. Your cells remain receptive. Your heart continues to react, and your body is still inclined towards choices that facilitate its healing and flourishing. Should you still be watching this video and find these points of value, I invite you to comment with the number 6 below to let me know of your continued attention. Also, if you're not yet a subscriber, I'd advise subscribing and enabling notifications so you don't miss out on any future content. Your patronage allows us to keep producing quality material intended to inform and uplift you. Now, let us proceed. Number 7, maintaining an active brain through consistent learning and intellectual curiosity. Individuals who attain their late 90s and beyond with undiminished mental acuity nearly invariably exhibit one subtle characteristic. They persist in acquiring knowledge. They engage in reading. They explore new activities not for the purpose of impressing others, but due to a sustained interest. This inquisitiveness serves as a stimulant for the brain. When you mentally challenge yourself, even in minor respects, you fortify neural pathways. You develop what medical professionals term cognitive reserve, a sort of mental safeguard that enhances resilience against memory impairment, confusion, and cognitive deterioration. Consider it analogous to providing your brain with daily exercise, an exercise that doesn't result in discomfort, but rather in increased strength. Acquiring knowledge need not involve formal classes or intricate studies. It can encompass reading an unfamiliar book, engaging in a thought-provoking game, trying out a new culinary preparation, or merely participating in a conversation that stimulates thought. Even attempting to recall directions or working on a puzzle is beneficial. The most crucial factor is that your brain remains active, much like a finely tuned engine that retains its eagerness to operate. I was acquainted with a gentleman named Carl, aged 90, who perused every article in the local newspaper, including those he did not entirely comprehend. He would mark unfamiliar words, and subsequently research their meanings. He shared with me, "I enjoy providing my brain with material to process." That elementary ritual maintained his mental agility, his sharp vocabulary, and his remarkably youthful thinking. It is not necessary to achieve expertise. You simply need to remain engaged. For when the brain is actively involved, the entire physique responds in kind. You adopt a more upright posture. You articulate with greater lucidity. You experience a stronger connection to your surroundings. Above all, you recognize that you are still developing, even at this present moment. Regardless of your age, your brain desires to be challenged. It seeks to be utilized. Therefore, continue to nourish it, continue to test it, and it will support you further than you might imagine. Final thoughts. Reaching the age of 100 may appear to be an achievement for a select minority, but upon closer examination, it frequently boils down to minor daily decisions that subtly sustain the body and spirit over the years. These 7 practices are not mystical feats or quick fixes. They are established patterns, soft rhythms that accumulate annually until they form the bedrock of a more extended, more stable, and more serene existence. It is not incumbent upon you to implement all of them simultaneously, nor do you need to execute them flawlessly. Simply select one that resonates with you. Perhaps it is daily walking. Perhaps it is consuming slightly less food. Perhaps it is contacting a loved one with greater frequency. The alteration need not be substantial. It merely needs to be your own initiative, because the ultimate objective is not solely to extend one's lifespan. It is to live more fully, with mental sharpness, with meaningful bonds, with tranquil mornings and evenings that are not characterized by haste or hollowness. And paramount among these, with a conviction that your life continues to progress in significant ways. So, pause for a moment and consider, which habit from today's presentation do you already incorporate into your life? And which one might you be inclined to start? Your response may prove surprising, and it could very well be the catalyst that ushers you into the subsequent phase of life with enhanced vigor, elegance, and happiness. I appreciate you joining me today. I would be delighted to hear your thoughts. Please leave a comment below sharing one insight you gained today and how you intend to apply it in your life. Your perspectives are valuable to me, so please do not hesitate to share them. Reading your comments provides me with considerable motivation and encouragement. If you found this video enjoyable and beneficial, I kindly ask you to like, subscribe, and share it. Your support enables me to continue producing quality content designed to inform and inspire you. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to your company in the next video.